Hello and welcome to English 103. My name is Lori Vale and I'm the instructor for this class. And as often as I'm able, I'm going to be posting video announcements like this so you can get a lot of information in a really condensed space. There's a lot to read in this class, so one less thing to read is good, and seeing my face might help you feel more comfortable coming to my office and asking for help if you need it. This is a very challenging course. This is a course that prepares you to do research and to read research and to write in conversation with that research. Not only in your academic career, I see that many of you are nursing aspirants, and so it will certainly be a part of what you do, but also just in real life. The example that I use all the time in my on-ground classes is that when you have a baby, one of the very first things they do is ask you if you're vaccinating your baby or not. This is while you're still in the hospital. So being able to make a decision that's based on your own understanding of what the best thing for your child is really important. And it turns out there's a lot of research that suggests that vaccinations can be problematic. And there's a lot of research that suggests that not vaccinating can be really problematic. And it's not that any of that is right or wrong, because there isn't actually a way to know exactly what will happen with your child. There's just making the best decision you can, and having the skills to do that is what this class is all about. This class takes a lot of time. It means reading things more than once, which many students are not super skilled or used to doing. It's a lot of deep thinking and a lot of struggling with ideas that maybe are not what you already think about the world, but also aren't meant to be what you should think about the world. The biggest challenge students find in this class is being able to hold all knowledge as partial knowledge. There's just no way to know everything there is to know in the world. And since we can't be experts from all points of view simultaneously, the strongest skill we can have is being able to be comfortable with not knowing everything all at once and being able to say, what I know is important, but it's not the whole story. And so what else can I find out? This class is about asking excellent questions, and we're going to do a lot of that. Speaking of questions, the email system that we use is Outlook on this campus, and Blackboard doesn't play well outside of Chrome, and Outlook doesn't play well with Chrome. So if you get emails from me that I've sent from home or from outside my office, very often the email will begin with a question mark. I have begged IT to do something about this. They swear they cannot, and that I simply need to change browsers every time I'm doing a different operation. I very rarely remember to do that. If you get an email from me that begins with a question mark, please know I am not being sarcastic or trying to be ugly to you. I'm using an email server that's off campus. So my apologies. It's particularly embarrassing because I teach English. The textbook that we have for this class, you'll notice, is free. Everything's available online. That's amazing in some great ways. You don't have to wait to buy the text until your financial aid comes in. You can jump right in and get started. It's also got some issues attached to it. A free text means it hasn't been through editing in a traditional sense for publication. So there are errors in this textbook. You should definitely look up the author of the textbook, which should be your first move for every single thing we do in this class. Check him out. Make sure he's legit. Make sure you feel comfortable taking him as an expert in this capacity. But because the book didn't go through editing, you're going to find grammar errors and sentences he stopped in the middle of the sentence. It's very frustrating for some folks. It always makes me giggle because this is how many times my students' papers read. So the text is free, but keep in mind that that means you might have to work a little bit harder than you would in a traditional textbook to get the meaning that's being made. And the last thing I'll inundate you with for today, because there's so much to provide you, and yet a couple minutes a day is probably the max anybody wants to see of me talking head, is to mention the calendar. The calendar in Blackboard is not the calendar we use for this class. And I looked over to the side because I'm looking at where the calendar is on my screen. The Blackboard calendar I find really cumbersome. So things will show up there if there's a Dropbox for it, because that's an automatic feature. But what you need to do is go into the Start Here folder under Course Content and look for the calendar for weeks 1 through 3 is the start, and then we'll have 3 and 4 week calendars that roll out as we go, and print that calendar. That calendar tells you exactly what you need to have read for each week, what you need to do in terms of assignments, and what due dates there are for those assignments. Please, 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 I cannot encourage you enough to go check out that calendar and print it so that you have it in front of you. Blackboard is not going to remind you of what you need to get done, because the only thing that's in Blackboard is the drop boxes. So it'll tell you something's due, but it won't tell you what it is, and it won't tell you what you need to read to get that done. That's what the calendar under Course Content and the Start Here folder will do. So holler at me with any questions you have. I'm from Texas, as you can tell, because I just said holler at me. What I really mean is email me with any questions you have. Keep in mind that as you're posting even in discussion boards, you want to be using your absolute best grammar and mechanics. In the introductions, I'm already seeing some text speak and lingo coming in that is not going to fly as we go forward in the course. Let me know how I can help you. Stop by and introduce yourself if you have the chance. I'm in the conservation wing on main campus, and probably have another video out to you in another 2 or 3 days. Keep plugging till then. Let me know what you need. Have a great morning.